Beautiful. You've all had the message to accept the recording, and Sarah has just nicely joined us. So we'll wait until she comes in and then we'll get started. Sarah, we know you're there. I know that you don't always switch your camera on straight away, so just join in when you are ready. Perfect. You look like you've still got a bag on your shoulder. You've maybe just got in from work. Bless you. Okay, so I'm going to start you tonight on all fours actually, just to mix it up a little bit. And then, full disclosure, we're going to do some leg work later. Did you enjoy your bottom work last week? Forgot to check in? No, a few shaking heads. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so come into an all fours position on your mat. And I might be just jumping up if Claire arrives a little bit late, so if I move, that's not your cue to move. Let's position wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and make sure that the knees are no more than hip width distance apart. For comfort, we're just going to rest on the top of the feet, so we feel quite relaxed. The elbows are soft. And although we don't want to feel as though we're kind of holding too much tension in the upper body, we don't want to let the belly flop. So mindfully draw the tummy button in, widen through the collarbones. And just easy Ozy, we'll start by turning the toes under, drawing the small of the back up towards the ceiling, nodding the chin to the chest, and creating a curve through the spine. On the opposite effect, rest on the tops of the feet and draw the sternum forward. So you're leading with the chest rather than the nose, drawing the shoulder blades together. Then exhaling, repeating that roll up through the spine. So it's a very obvious opposite effect. On the inhale, we're opening the chest, releasing the lower back. On the exhale, we're drawing the tummy button in, creating a little more space into the spine. Bring yourself back to a neutral spine position, resting again on the tops of the feet. And just walk the hands towards the edge of your mat. Try to keep the elbows soft, but make sure that you've got a full connection under the palms of the hands. On the out breath, push the sit bones back towards the heels. As we lower the head down, we end up with the ears between the upper arms. There's no need to go any deeper than this. Use the next exhalation to push the sit bones a little further back. So you can feel there's a pull at the underarms, into the sides of the rib cage, maybe a little release through the lower back. Now lift the the fingers from the mat, pushing the wrists to the floor. Gently pushing the sit bones to the back of the room, deepening that stretch, just feeling a little different emphasis there. Replace the palms, the fingers to the mat, lower down onto the forearms. Then bring the forehead down. So it might be that the forehead can rest fully on the mat. It might be that you need to widen the arms a little just so that you don't have any discomfort in the shoulders. Pay particular attention of not drawing the shoulders up. Roll through the forehead, bring the left ear parallel to the floor. Then roll through the forehead, bring the right ear parallel to the floor. Roll again to centre. Then once more, extend both arms forward. So in effect, you're lifting the elbows from the mat, keeping the forehead on the floor, finding that extra stretch over the back of the shoulder blades, down through the middle back. Keep pushing through the sit bones to deepen that stretch. Replace the elbows to the floor. Lift the head from the mat and inhale to lift the chest forward. Slide the thighs back. Position the elbows underneath the shoulders. And again, the hands want to be a little wider than shoulder width apart. Let's anchor down by pressing the thighs into the mat. Inhaling to lift the chest, bringing the gaze up and forward. Remind yourself to keep the ankles, the feet soft. As you turn the gaze over the right shoulder, mobilising the neck. Inhale to centre. Exhale to look over the opposite shoulder. Inhale again to centre. Then lower all the way down, bringing the forehead all the way to the floor. Let's reposition the palms either side of the chest. So that means lifting the elbows up, drawing the elbows in towards the rib cage. Again, anchor down by pressing into the thighs, then push down into the palms, lift the sternum. So there's no harm here in keeping the elbows soft to avoid too much lift. Think about opening the chest, easing the belly to the floor. Then as you exhale, engage the core, lengthen back. Come again into that full child's pose position. On the next inhalation, lift up again into the all fours position. So keep that nice strong core engagement. As you inhale, slide the right foot back, turn the toe under. As you exhale, gently push that right heel towards the mat. So starting to get into the calf, a little bit behind the knee. Doesn't need to be any movement in the upper body, it's all in just finding the space around that lower leg. Bring that knee in, extend the opposite foot back. Again, we're just gently pressing the heel towards the mat. It's not unusual to feel that one leg is tighter than the other. You bring your foot a bit closer. That's it. Then bring that knee back in. Perfect. Turn both toes under. Exhale, draw the tummy button in, rolling through the spine, nodding the chin to the chest. Then inhaling, back to that lovely long opening into the heart space, releasing the lower back. Bring yourself back again to a neutral spine position. Perfect. Now I'm going to get you to lower down again onto the forearms. So the elbows are positioned directly underneath the shoulders, the palms turn down. We're going to walk both feet back, and when we turn the toes under, it's not a ballet manoeuvre, so we're not on the top of the toes, we're onto the ball of the foot, that's it. Turn the opposite toe under, position the shoulders above the elbows, and bring the thighs down so that they're parallel to the mat. So this is not about lifting the bottom in the air and overloading the shoulders. It's about finding that core engagement, working with the breath. Involuntary sounds from the corner here. Then as you exhale, gently lower the thighs, the belly, the chest to the floor. So that's a little low plank position. I personally prefer low plank. I think it's kinder on the shoulders, but it's quite hard. Let's bring the right heel in. So we're bringing the right heel in towards the bottom. Just take the right arm now to grab hold of the top of that foot, of that ankle, and just gently draw the heel a little closer towards the butt, just to lengthen that stretch to the front of the thigh, into the hip flexor. Replace that foot to the floor, right arm down, bring the left heel in, and gently draw that heel a little closer. We're just teasing a little more length into the front of the thigh, into the hip flexor. Then replace that foot to the floor. Perfect. Both hands again either side of the chest. Draw the elbows in, push down into the palms, lift back up into cobra. Elbows remain soft. As you exhale, engage the core, lengthen back. Coming to that long stretch in child's pose again. Now I know I'm going to run out of space, so I'm just going to adjust by coming back into an all fours position. I'll start by demonstrating on the left side so that you can see in the camera. I'm bringing the left hand forward, bringing the right arm under, bringing the right shoulder, the right ear to the floor. So encouraging a little twist through the upper thoracic spine. Keep lengthening that left arm forward, pushing the sit bones back, deepening the length through the side of the waist into the rib cage. Then push down into that left hand. You're effectively untwisting yourself and repeating on the opposite side. Keep pressing through the sit bones, lengthening into the side of the rib cage. Then returning again to a full child's pose position. Either forehead to the floor or ears between the upper arms, whichever's comfortable for you. Then slide the hands under the shoulders. We're going to come into a hero pose. Now I know a couple of you sometimes disagree with your knees, so if this becomes too much in this posture, at any point you can just come out into a seated position if that's more comfortable for you. So quite helpfully in the camera you can see that kind of straight line from the back of the head to the tailbone. So you do allow a little of the natural tilt that you have in the lower back, but let's not be excessive about it. So think about driving the tailbone down so you can really feel the weight of the sit bones on the feet. In fact, spread that little bit of cushioning so that you can bring the bonier part of your bottom to rest on the heels. Beautiful. And for now, just rest the hands onto the bony hip bones. On an inhale, press the hips forward, so you're kind of rolling through that pelvic range. Then on an exhale, draw the tummy button in, push that pelvic range back. So we're just tilting forward and back. We shouldn't be feeling this in the shoulder or the neck. It's all just through that hip section. Beautiful. As you come back to centre, remind yourself about good alignment. So tuck the tailbone under, draw the tummy button in. Extend both arms forward. At this point, we don't need to do any hip stuff, so if you need to change, do. Bring the palms together. I'm going to stack right forefinger on top of left, coming into an interlock here. Turn the hands inside out. Keep the shoulders down, keep the gaze comfortably forward. As you exhale, draw the tummy button in. As you inhale, work with the breath to come through your full range of movement, opening the palms towards the ceiling. Tuck that tailbone under again, draw the tummy button in, push through the palms and really encourage that opening through the chest. As you exhale, engage the core, bring the hands back to chest level. Turn the hands towards the heart. Then we'll bring the hands behind the lower back. So we did right forefinger over left as the first interlock. So this time put your left forefinger on top. Draw the shoulder blades together, roll them down. So that fundamentally changes the shape. A little reminder to tuck the tailbone under to protect the lower back. Then as you exhale, slide the hands away, opening through bicep muscles, across the chest, releasing the deltoids. Then relax the hands back in to the lower back. Separate the hands. Let's switch now into a more comfortable seated position for everyone. Let's come into a cross-legged. So a cross-legged position is called a sukha pose or an easy pose. I don't know who decided that, because most people would not choose to sit in a cross-legged position. So we're just going to park left foot in front of the groin, right foot in front of left. So a nice, easy, open posture, allowing the hips to release. Lift up and lengthen out of the sit bones and roll the shoulders back and down. Perfect. Let's bring the hands once more to an interlock. This time we're going to bring the palms behind the back of the head. Be mindful here that we're not pushing the head forward, so lean into the hands, open through the sternum, tuck that tailbone under, spread the elbows a little wider. So as you exhale, for now we'll just keep gazing forward, so keep that lovely diagonal line as you tip the right elbow down towards the floor. Engage the core, inhale, lift back to centre. Then as you exhale, lead with the left elbow. Keep drawing the shoulder blades together. Inhale to lift up, back to centre. So we're going to repeat that action. This time, when you start to do that lean over to the right, create a little extra lift through the left and turn and look up to the left elbow without collapsing the elbow in. Hard. Inhale, lift to centre. Engage the core, lift again, turn the gaze to the opposite elbow, draw that elbow open, keep looking up to that corner, then inhale, lift, come back to centre, lovely. Separate the hands, Bring the hands underneath the chin. So again, I've chosen an interlock just for comfort, but in sense, we're just resting the chin onto the backs of the hands. So we don't want to be feeling as though we're leaning forward. So again, anchor yourself down through the sit bones, engage the core. On an inhale, widen as you lift the elbows. On an exhale, engage the core, push the breath out. So this works a bit like the bellows, if you can imagine using on an old coal fire. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. This time on the exhale, allow the pressure to gently tip the head back as you look up. Inhale, push the chin down, open the gaze forward. Exhale, so we're gently allowing the gaze to lift up. Inhale, exhale. One more, inhale, exhale. Inhale, separate the hands and come back to center. Lovely. On the next inhalation, squeeze both shoulders up towards the ears. As you exhale, shrug, let them go. Inhale, lift. On the exhale, little more control as you roll the shoulders back and down. Keep that going, making little circles with the shoulders. So we're kind of warming up through that full range of movement. Enjoy that sensation of release, activate, then let go. One more roll. Perfect. So keep those shoulders released back and down. We're now going to isolate the right shoulder. Lift the shoulder to the ear, then squeeze and release. Inhale, lift the left shoulder to the ear, squeeze and release. Once more with the right, back to the left. Beautiful. Now bring that leg cross so the opposite foot is in front or behind. For most of us, when we change the leg cross, there's a different emphasis on where the hips feel tight or where the knees feel tight. So adjust until you feel comfortable. My personal preference is to kind of rest my right leg on top of that little left ankle. So bring the hands now either side of the hips. Again, reminding you not to lean forward. We're lifting out the sit bones. Extend that right palm away, press the palm to the floor. Inhale to lift the opposite arm. Draw the right elbow in towards the waist. Turn the gaze up towards the left hand, then bring it over the midline of the body. So you're creating a curved arm, but a nice strong diagonal from the side of the rib cage through the waist down to the hip. Inhale, lift, come back to center. Widen. Release into that lean over. Inhale, extend and lengthen the stretch. It might be that you want to try and bring that left elbow towards the floor just to give you a little bit more challenge. Inhale, lift, come back to center. Place that right hand behind the hip, left hand onto right knee. Inhale to lift up. As you exhale, follow the side of the rib cage, not the shoulder, as you come into the first part of this twist. On the inhale, we're lifting again out of the sit bones, keeping the shoulder relaxed. As you exhale, follow the rib cage. See how far you can take your gaze towards the back of the room without relying on the neck. It's all about opening and twisting the upper body. On the next inhalation, lift the arms overhead. As you exhale, engage the core, bring the focus forward. Inhale again to press and lengthen through the fingers, dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Then on the out breath, let's take opposite hand to opposite knee. So you're making that same twist on the other side. Try not to pull the knee and knock yourself off balance. Inhale, lift out of the sit bones. As you exhale, start that little twist at the side of the rib cage. Nice and relaxed in the neck, not forcing. On the next out breath, you can go a little deeper. Just keeping the neck tracking in line with the shoulder. Then as you exhale, release. Come back again to center. Let's position both hands behind the hips. So first action, We're keeping the bottom and the ankles attached to the floor. For some of us, my arms are quite short, so I can't fully get my palms to the floor. If I do, it kind of makes me curl the shoulders. So you might be on fingertips, that's okay. Just don't use the fingertips to encourage lift. Think about just touching the mat, lifting the sternum, drawing the shoulder blades together, then bringing your gaze up towards the ceiling. Remember, don't let the head become heavy, it will just hurt the neck. Then bring the gaze forward. Beautiful. So we're now going to take the hands a little further back in order that we can get the palms to the floor, which means for most of us we'll be leaning back into this position. To counter that, press the shins forward, lift the bottom from the mat, and enjoy a little opening through the chest, through the hip flexors, equally weighted. Then bring the sit bones back again to centre. Inhale to lift. Come back to the middle. Lovely. Let's take the legs wide. So when we're in a wide leg position, again, we have to guard against the sense of leaning forward. If you tighten the inner thighs, that will feel natural. So visualize that you're leaning back against an imaginary wall. We've got that core engagement, tailbone ever so slightly turned under, toes pointing up. So already that's intensified the stretch to the inner thigh. So that we don't overstretch, let's imagine that we're holding like a big spoon in our hands. So we're just clasping or interlocking if that's more comfortable for you. And we're going to start with little circles. And we're going to allow the upper body to mimic the shapes that we're making with the stirring. So the upper body might lean forward, it might lean back. Try not to curve the spine. Take that stirring ever wider so that you're reaching all the way from one foot to the other foot. Right, now that we've got it, let's reverse the direction. Start small and tight again, so in the centre of the body, then keep it working wider. And obviously when we're doing sections like this, where I'm not telling you to breathe in and breathe out, I'm trusting you to just breathe. Now you can go all the way, leading that stirring from one foot to the other. Beautiful. And bring it back again to centre. So because we've had a bit of a focus, a bit of a distraction from the fact that we're stretching the back of the legs and the inner thighs, we've created a little more space here. Keep the toes pointing up, bring the palms probably between the knees. Then as you exhale, start to gently walk the hands forward. Remember, there's no end game, there's no target. It's just where you personally feel you can get to. It'd be great to see the toes pointing up because that means we're active. So I'm just laughing at Miriam's facial reaction to that. It's always good. Then as you exhale, lower the elbows towards the floor. If you have the opportunity to see yourself in the screen, just check out that you're not curving the spine. A diagonal through the spine is perfect. Try not to overload the upper body. Keep leading with the sternum. And with every exhalation, just coming a little deeper into this space. Lovely. Now the lower back is now quite exposed, so no sudden movements. We're just going to place a hand on top of each ankle. Draw the tummy button in. Then we're just going to walk the hands up the length of the calves, over the knees, up the thighs, as we slowly come back to centre. Perfect. Draw the soles of the feet together. So similar range of movement, but different way of getting to it. Lift, lift, lift out the sit bones. As you exhale, widen the knees, and again, just draw the chest forward. So some of you, if you're very tight in the hamstrings, you won't particularly enjoy the sequence we've just done with the wide legs. If you've got a little bit more room to be found in the inner thighs, this might be more accessible. Yeah, Miriam's nodding furiously to that one. Keep drawing the shoulder blades together and watching. I'm being naughty because I'm looking at you, but watching the chin doesn't lift too much. And as you exhale, engage the core. As you inhale, lift, come back to centre. Perfect. Let's take the legs forward. So I'm sorry, I'm not quite done with the hamstrings yet. I'll turn side on so that you can see the options here. So when we're tightening the hamstrings, it's never a good idea to force the legs to be long because it will just make the back curve. So allow yourself that little bit of gap under the knees. Again, keep the toes pointing up and sort of fix that curve in the back by lifting out of the sit bones, rolling the shoulders back and down. So I can really feel it now in the back of the legs. Bring the hands to shoulder height. Thumbs are up, palms are facing in. As you exhale, extend forward. Remember, it's not a roll, it's a gentle release. Exhale, come a little deeper. On the next exhale, one more time. Beautiful. Now again, lower back is quite exposed here, so draw the tummy button in. Bring the hands back without undoing that extension. Then inhale, lift, come back to centre. Replace the hands, give your legs a little shake, and come up to standing. Beautiful. So let's put into practice kind of what we've just done, the space that we've created. You're not happy? Mirren, go wide. I don't know why I said Mirren, I was looking at her and saying her name. So go wide, inside of the feet parallel. Bring the hands onto the hips. It's always a good discipline because you can feel if your hips are moving out of alignment. Inhale to lengthen. As you exhale, hinge forward. Initially, we want to just bring a straight line from the back of the head to the tailbone. So this shouldn't overload either the hamstrings or the inner thighs or the knees. If the knees are grumbling, just soften them by bending. Now wrap the hands around the elbows and bring the forearms parallel to the floor. So the weight here in the upper body is just intensifying that stretch you're getting through the back of the legs. So we warmed the calves earlier. This is probably bringing them a little bit into play again. On the next out breath, come a little deeper, tucking the chin under, and kind of hanging in this position. Perfect. Now bring your palms to the floor. Lift your gaze so that you're looking forward. Take a bend on the right knee. Walk the hands over in front of the right foot, so you've got one sort of either side of the foot. We're not really going down yet, we're just bent on that right knee. Then we're lifting the left toe, rotating to turn that toe up towards the ceiling. Then we're sinking down, lifting the right heel from the floor. Beautiful. So the right knee is bent, we're on the ball of the foot, we're extending, lengthening. At the moment we're holding for dear life. I need you to lift your hands up and find a little bit of balance. Or not. Then push down into the sole of that right foot, transition all the way to the other side. So easier to get into on the other side. Beautiful. So first of all, find your centre here, because you know that you need the balance to lift the hands and come into this posture. Good, good, good. Nice. Oops. Oops. Lost my total balance there. Then push down into that foot, walk back again to centre. Perfect. Walk the hands a little further forward. So I always say this, but the further you walk your hands forward, kind of the more space you're given your upper back. You just don't want to walk so far forward that you feel imbalanced. You certainly don't want the weight coming off the heels. You want to feel the heels weighted into the floor equally through the balls of the feet. Start to lower the elbows towards the floor. And if it's within your gift, bring the top of your head to the floor. If it's not, just keep the knees soft and find a position that works for you. Beautiful. Then when you're ready, reposition either the forearms or the hands under the shoulders, and just slowly start to work your way back up to a bent over position. Walk the hands under the shoulders, heel toe the feet a little further together. Bring the hands onto the thighs. I like a big bend in the knees, so you might feel that you're almost sitting into this posture. Shoulder blades drawn together, draw the tummy button in, push into the palms, push the palms into the thighs, lift and come back to center, and step together. Good, nice work. So we're going to do a couple of warrior postures now. So warrior 2 to begin with. Turn the right toe as if it's facing away from you. Take the opposite leg, shoulder width apart. It's usually a little bit more than that. So first thing you'll notice is the hips will turn. So bring the hips to face forward. Allow a little slack in this front knee. Then roll that right knee over the ankle. So you can see that you've got a straight line going from the knee down to the heel. And you've still got a nice diagonal coming from the back heel through to the hip. Float the arms up, so the palms are facing down. Then turn the gaze over the right arm and just keep nudging that right knee a little further open. So when I say open, I mean keep bringing it over the second and third toe. Don't let it collapse in. Now my preference is to sneak the left foot a little further back. Then on the out breath, we're coming into the posture. So we're lowering the weight down, avoiding not traveling forward. So the weight is going down, not forward. Deepening this stretch in the inner thigh, nice. Keep opening the shoulders, the hips, so that we're square in the upper body. Now push down into that front leg. Come back to center, relax the arms. Turn the right foot now so that it makes the anchor point. Turn the left toe away. So again, you need a moment just to set your alignment. Hips forward, knee soft, over the second toe. Anchoring the shoulders above the hips, coming wide on the arms. The action is on the out breath to lower deeper, not to lean forward. So keep thinking about lowering deeper. Good. Nice. Then as you exhale, lower the arms. As you inhale, push into the front leg. Bring that foot to face forward. Engage the core. Jump the feet together. Beautiful. Come now as though we're going on our mat as if we've got train lines. So stepping towards the front of your mat, hands on hips. We're doing the other warrior, we're doing warrior 1. So strike the right foot back. A reminder that as soon as we do this action, the back foot tends to turn out. So come up onto the ball of the foot. Make sure the insides of the feet are parallel. Park that heel to the floor. Bring a little bend into that front knee. And again, we want to watch that we're not too far forward. So less than 90 degrees is ideal for this. Bring the hands up to shoulder height. As you exhale, you're extending forward. Keep pushing that back heel to the floor. Lengthen as you continue to press through the fingers, drawing the shoulder blades back. You might be feeling a nice opening around the left buttock. Then bring the fingertips to the floor. Turn the back toe under. Lower the back knee to the floor. Bring the foot down. Bring the hands to heart space. Make sure that that front knee remains no more than a 90-degree angle. Inhale, lift the arms overhead, ears between the upper arms. And as you exhale, engage the core, hinge forward. Turn the back toe under, push the left foot back, come into a nice high plank. So diagonal line from the shoulder through the hip to the heel. Wide through the collarbones, engaged in the core. Then we'll lower down onto the knees first. Then we'll bring the chest and the chin, bottom is up. Inhale, back into cobra. Exhale, turn the toes under. Push up into downward facing dog. Walk your feet a little bit further forward. Lift the tailbone, push your sit bones back. Now bring the right foot forward. Lower that back shin to the floor. Lift up so that you're into the lunge position. Inhale to lift the arms overhead. Make sure that knee stays over the second toe. As you exhale, engage the core, hinge forward. Turn the back toe under, lift up, bounce the back foot in, lower the heel to the floor. Keep that angle on the knee as you lift, lift, lift. Bring the hands again, parallel, straight out from the shoulders. On an out breath, extend, extend, push the sit bones back. Nice opening around the buttock. Replace the hands by your side. Keep looking forward rather than down as you push into the right foot and sweep that left foot forward. Beautiful. I'm just going to go back to the middle of my mat so that you can see. So rather than having wide legs, which is where we started, we're coming into a Tadasana pose. So insides of the feet parallel, palms facing towards the front of the room. Side on's better for you. So as you inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Little bit of correction here. Avoid that oversway either forward or back. Let's tuck the tailbone under. Engage the core. Bring your gaze up between the hands. Shoulders relaxed. A little softness in the knees as you exhale. Hinge forward, bring your fingertips towards the floor. Tuck the chin under. Walk your hands a little further forward just to help with that space. As you exhale, breathe the palms to the floor. You lift the tailbone just to encourage the legs to be lengthening. Keep the core engaged. Bring your gaze to just in front of the toes, so where your hands are. Widen the arms. Unhinge as you inhale to lift the chest. Let the arms rest by your side. Just give yourself a moment if you're dizzy. Sometimes get a little bit dizzy. Beautiful. Back into Tadasana. From here, lift the right foot. Bring the knee in line with the hip. The underside of the foot parallel to the floor. Shoulders, hips, square. Use the right toe to draw circles in. Then take the circles out. Keep that core engagement. Then replace that foot to the floor. Beautiful. Opposite knee lifted. So we start in flexion. We reset the hips and the shoulders. Then we use the big toe to mobilize the ankle. Both directions. Then replace that foot to the floor. Lovely. Come back up into a setup for lunge position. So walking towards the front of your mat. We'll start with the right leg. So take the left leg back, bend on the right knee, bring the palms onto the floor. Lift the back leg. So it's almost as though you're making a straight line between the back of the head, the shoulder, the back of the hips and the heel. Then push into that front leg, straighten the leg. If it helps, you can hold the ankle. Probably doesn't. My preference is to lift the hands, lift the gaze, and look dead ahead. Straightening the leg, lengthening into that posture. Nice. Keep the faith. Engage the core. It's a lot when you're at home as well, because you don't really know what you're going to fall into. As you exhale, engage the core, lift yourself back up, come into a standing position. Brilliant. We'll do the same on the other side. I'm just a little bit too close to a glass coffee table, so hopefully I won't careen into that. Opposite side. So left leg now. So same setup, coming into lunge. We start by lifting the back leg. Keep the shoulders square as you straighten the front leg. Then lift. Extend. Beautiful. Don't forget to breathe. Then engage the core. Inhale, lift. Come back to standing. Bet you're glad you had your heating on tonight. You're certainly getting the benefit of it now. Beautiful. One more standing sequence, and then because I didn't give you any Shavasana to begin with, I'll give you a nicer Shavasana at the end, I promise. So last time in Tadasana, I'll do side on again because it's easier for you. So when we're in Tadasana this time, we're going to keep the knees anchored over the ankles. We're going to push the sit bones back. And just imagine that you're coming into a squat, but we don't want a wide leg squat. So keep the heels under the hips, insides of the feet nice and neat. So my knees are just kind of at the tolerance of where they need to be. Any further forward, too much tension on the joint. So I'm going to push the knees back over the heels and push the bottom a little further back. So we're much more active, working again the inner thighs, the hamstrings, the buttocks are helping. We're all working hard. Doesn't matter what you do with your hands, and Anjali Mudra might help to just keep you centered. Keep looking down, but not straight down at your toes, possibly focus towards the end of your mat. Simply lift the right heel, keeping the ball of that foot on the floor. Lower that heel, lift the left one. Lower that down. Lift both heels so that you're kind of hovering on the balls of the feet. Try not to let the weight sneak forward. Push the heels to the floor. Push down into the soles of the feet. Inhale, lift up. Oh, now you love me. Inhale, lift the arms overhead. Don't give in to the lower back. Lift the sternum, look up to the thumbs. Enjoy a little release, but don't lean all the way back. Keep pressing the thighs back, lifting through the sternum. And then dive all the way forward into a full forward fold. It helps to maybe tuck the palms underneath the toes, fingers facing up, tuck the chin under, push down into the soles of the feet, lift the tailbone, big long stretch in the hamstrings, breathe the belly into the thighs. On the next inhale, slide the hands from under the feet, widen the arms. Exhale to engage the core. Inhale, unhinge, lift up. Bring the hands to an Anjali Mudra. A moment to just settle, because you might feel dizzy being upside down. And then just take a moment here, completely still in mountain pose, just closing the eyes. Just notice if you get pulled to one side, if there's a tendency to rock forward or back. Bring your full attention to the core. As you exhale, draw the tummy button in, engage the core. As you inhale, feel yourself lengthen out of the soles of the feet through the full length of your body. Take a moment to blink, the eyes open. A more comfortable stance as we take the feet hip width shoulder width distance apart. Make sure you get plenty of space around you, particularly behind you. Inhale to lift the arms up. As you exhale, bend the knees, swing the arms forward. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, swing forward. This time I want you to feel as though you're lifting the air up, then throwing the air back down. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. 2 more. Let yourself hang, rock from one side to the other, bend the knees if you need to, become feral, nice and relaxed. Heel toe the feet a little wider apart, sink the bottom down, come into garland pose. Don't worry if you can't get your heels on the floor. Keep that gentle swaying. We don't want the knees to feel it. We just want that little bit of extra action in the inner thighs. Keep that diagonal from the back of the head to the tailbone. It's all going so well. Then bring the hands behind you so you don't fall back. Swing onto the bottom. Back on the floor. Perfect. Okay, so we kind of jumped straight into it tonight, for which I apologise, but I think we needed it. We needed that motivation on a Wednesday to get into it. But I'm now going to let you chill. I say chill, there's one little bit of working and then there's a lot of chill. So if you initially lie on your back, we'll start with the knees bent. And I'm just going to do one more release for the hamstrings. So when you come to lay down, because we've had a lot of time sort of on our feet tonight, remind yourself about the bonus of allowing the flats of the shoulder blades to rest, feeling the full width of the hips settling to the floor, allowing that little natural lift in the lower back, not forcing it, turning the palms up towards the ceiling, drawing the shoulder blades together. Take a moment to gently turn through the back of the head, bringing the right ear parallel to the floor. Try to keep a nice alignment here, so don't lift the nose. Trace the line of the collarbone as you bring the opposite ear parallel to the floor. Bring yourself back again to centre. Lift that right knee in towards the chest. Place the hands to the shin. A little pressure here just to round the lower back to the floor. Now push the right heel up towards the ceiling. Use the hands in a little gentle interlock to hold the back of the thigh. Try not to get to the knee. And then as you exhale, you're either going to bring the thigh closer or you're going to push through the heel. For those of us who are very tight in the hamstrings, we just want to lengthen through the back of the leg. Inhaling to point the toe, exhaling to flex, inhaling to point, exhale to flex. Remember to keep your bottom relaxed on the floor, push through the heel. Then we'll bring that right ankle to rest on top of the left knee. So kind of crossing up and over. Take your arms into a T-shaped position, nice and wide. You're going to push into the sole of the left foot just enough to lift the bottom off the floor so that you can push your hips over to the right. Just a little bit, the right. Then bring that right knee down to the left side as you turn your gaze over the right arm. So we get a delicious stretch through the outside edge of the hip, down the side of that leg. I love the twist in the lower back. And remember to keep equally weighted through the shoulders, through the arms, so that you get a sense that you're melting and releasing. Then as you exhale, engage the core, guide that right knee back to centre. Remember, you kind of put your hips out of alignment, so bring them back square. replace that foot on the floor. Bring the left knee in. So we start with the same half Apanasana, gentle hugging of the knee to the chest. Now support the back of the thigh by coming into the hamstring stretch. So when you do the point and flex through the ankle, the point releases the tension, the flex brings it back on. So try to do the work when you're in flexion, pressing the heel towards the ceiling, lengthening the back of the leg. If you've got a big bend in the knee, forget about drawing the leg in, just get the leg straight. Beautiful. Then bend that knee, drop the ankle on top of the left, right, I don't know where we are now. Widen the arms again, push down into the sole of the foot, take your hips over to the left this side, so the opposite way. Then roll the left knee to the right side, turning your gaze over the left arm. Nice, deep twist, release. Let your knee feel heavy, let your shoulder feel heavy. Let all the space in between simply let go. Visualize the breath traveling from the right hand to the left hand over the space across your chest. As you exhale, draw the tummy button in, roll the knee back again to center, unhook, reset the hips because they were offset, then extend the legs forward and come into your preferred Shavasana position. So if you choose to do traditional Shavasana, that officially translates as corpse pose, so lie like a dead body. We're just going to take a moment of quiet. There's been a lot of me talking through this past hour. So I'm just going to get you to tune in to the rhythm of your breath. Taking your time to scan through the full length of your body. Check in to notice if there are any imbalances in the body. You might observe one shoulder a little higher than the other. Perhaps one hip feels a little tighter. Work with the breath. With every exhalation, encourage the body to unclench, to release, to bring balance through your joints, to find length through the muscles. Until you have a sense of your whole body soft, heavy, completely released. Have a sense of tuning into your breath. Following the breath from the tip of the nose along the nasal passages. And rather than rushing the breath, enjoying taking the breath a little deeper, expanding a little wider. Releasing the weight of your body into the floor. Widening and expanding with every full breath in. Softening and releasing with each longer exhalation. You might notice equal length to the inhale and the exhale. Try to make that out breath last a little longer. So if on your inhalation you count a breath of 4, try to release the exhalation to a count of 6. We want to use this lengthened exhalation to make sure that we're clearing our body and our auric field of any negative energy, of anything that may be holding you back, getting in your way. Sometimes it helps to make the out-breath a little noisier so that you feel you're ridding your body of negativity, any toxins, filling your body with pure light. If the attention wanders, bring your focus back to the breath. Notice the cool air on the breath in, the warm air on the breath out. Whenever it feels the right time for you, start to guide your breath back to equal length in and out. Remember not to force your breath. Just be aware of the breath entering and leaving the body. As you once more spend a moment to scan the body from head to toe. Perhaps finding a little more balance, more calm, a sense of feeling more grounded, ready to receive whatever comes your way in the days ahead. Now let's slowly start to return sensation to the physical body. Wiggling fingers, wiggling toes. Wiggle the jaw a little and the nose. Take a long stretch through the body. And if you're still laid on your back, take a moment to hug the knees to the chest. You might want to take a moment gently rocking from one side to the other. Slowly rolling to your left side. Pausing there for a moment to blink the eyes open. Then returning again to a comfortable seated position. Bring your hands to an Anjali Mudra. Touch to the head for kind thoughts, to the lips for kind words, and to the heart for kind intentions. The light in me honours the light in you. Namaste. Beautiful work, people.